Hey everyone! Today we close out the alpha phase of the Age of Apocalypse in my coverage of this 1990s X-Men crossover event. In this video we'll be witnessing the final phase of Magneto's plan to fix reality, as well as a couple of flashbacks to the death of Scarlet Witch and a Weapon X story. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos on comics, new and old. In Boothbay Harbor, Maine, a young woman approaches the Magi and informs them of a group of humans moving through the area. The humans are attempting to escape out of Apocalypse's domain to the relative safety of Eurasia. Back at the X-Mansion, Bishop, finally regaining his senses, reflects on the situation. For 20 years he wandered this world, confused and afflicted by the changed timeline. He still is not certain of how the world should be, only that these are X-Men unlike any he has ever encountered before. He watches them effectively take down an attacking Sentinel as part of a practice session, but they fall short of the team's goal of taking the robot out within a certain time window. These results discourage Quicksilver, as they will need to destroy these Sentinels in order to get the humans safely past the seawall defenses to Eurasia. With half the team gone out west, he isn't sure what to do. This frustrates two of the X-Men, Bobby Drake and Exodus, as they are trying to help the humans but can't get past the human-built machines. However, the Eurasian technology is limited and is unable to distinguish between friend or foe when it comes to mutants. Banshee reminds the team they will also have to keep Apocalypse's forces at bay during all of this too. The Bishop again tries to warn the gathered team when Magneto arrives that none of this really matters because of the altered timeline. Eric insists they focus on saving as many people as they can until Nightcrawler, Gambit, Peter, and Katja all complete their various missions that will verify Bishop's story and allow them to alter the timeline back to normal. Magneto then reveals the key device that will be used for this evacuation, devices that will disguise the team's mutant abilities. With that, Exodus teleports Quicksilver, Banshee, Dazzler, Iceman, and Storm to Maine. After they leave, Magneto worries that this use of Exodus's powers may corrupt him, as he had not told the young man of his ability to teleport until this point, out of fear of what will happen. He's taking this risk now, though, as he explains to Bishop, because there is no point in holding back any potential weapons in this fight if the timeline is indeed corrupted. The X-Men quickly fall in with the human refugees unnoticed, while Storm flies out into the Atlantic Ocean to take out a defense monitoring station used by Apocalypse to watch out for Sentinels. Storm manages to hit it with enough energy to just barely disable it long enough for Sentinels to destroy the tower entirely, and a fleet of the machines move into Apocalypse's domain, along with a much slower, massive cargo ship. The Sentinels arrive at the humans' location and detect mutant activity, blasting Iceman and severely injuring the X-Men. This alarms the team, who should be hidden from the attacking machines, but they realize instead that Apocalypse's own mutants have arrived, elite members of the Magi, known as the Brotherhood of Chaos. Years ago, everything was much simpler in comparison. Magneto led a group of mutants called the X-Men hidden in Eastern Europe, at a facility located within the legendary Wendigo Mountain. Though he and his students once lived peacefully among the human race, sensing the growing hostility among the much larger population, he moved the team here to gather in isolation. Here they trained their powers to learn and protect themselves from a world that wasn't ready to accept them for who they are. The students, on one particular day, consisting at the time of Storm, Iceman, Jean Grey, Colossus, and Magneto's own children, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, are all operating a program in what they call the Killing Zone, a simulated combat room that allowed the X-Men to practice their powers safely. Watching his students, Magneto was impressed by their progress, but even before the appearance of Apocalypse, he had a sense that they would need to be ready for much darker days. He was strict, therefore, and when Quicksilver and Iceman celebrate a victory, Magneto only ups the difficulty level of their next challenge, emphasizing the need for the team to adapt and survive. As they face this challenge with confidence, Eric decides that this is still not enough. So he took this opportunity to introduce them to the newest member of the X-Men, Logan, also called Weapon X. This new mutant proved effective against the Killing Room machines, but also immediately went into a berserker rage, forcing Magneto to intervene and pin the man down. With Eric's permission, Jean Grey then used her telepathy to bring the man to a calm. Jean passes out from the effort, as telepathy was still new to her before the fall. But she managed to succeed, and the feat still impressed Logan, as most telepaths would not have survived the experience of delving into his own mind. As Logan settled in with the new team, on the other side of the world, a mysterious vessel flew overhead of New York City. Things were getting dim in the world of humanity at this time. Fear of mutants was reaching an all-time high, as rumors percolated of a powerful and long-lived mutant rising and attacking the human population. These fears became a reality on this day when the vessel projected a massive hologram of a woman named Kandra, who introduced herself as a herald of apocalypse. She proclaimed that the day of the strong and the fit had arrived. Watching this from Europe, Magneto knew he would have to act soon, but was then greeted by Mystique, who had managed to smuggle Rogue away from Apocalypse. She left, still an independent agent back then, and only having retrieved Rogue as part of a bargain with Magneto, but promised the young mutant that Eric could be trusted. Rogue struggled to connect with her fellow students at first on the team, as she feared touching them thanks to the nature of her powers. But her and Eric quickly made a connection when he promised to help her control her mutant abilities, and that she was with family now. That night, Apocalypse's 5 horsemen of the time, Sabretooth, War, Death, Kandra, and Gideon, made a raid on the American arsenal of nuclear weapons. They tore through the human defenses with ease, while Magneto watched on the other side of the world through his personal network of spy satellite footage. He summoned the X-Men, though left Scarlet Witch behind, insisting his daughter look after the other students while they were gone. Arriving in America, their craft was shot out of the sky, while back in Wundagore, the facility was attacked by one of Apocalypse's men, a mutant named Nemesis. Rogue squared off against this villain, while Wanda evacuated the younger students before joining her new colleague in a battle against their foe. Meanwhile, Gideon and Sabretooth managed to get to a control panel capable of launching America's nuclear arsenal. They contacted Apocalypse, and on his orders, Gideon prepared to launch strikes around the world. This shocked Sabretooth, who thought they were just taking control of the weapons as a bargaining chip against the humans. Apocalypse simply called Sabretooth gullible to think this, and had his other horsemen turn on Victor Creed. It was then that the X-Men arrived, leading to a battle between the two forces. Sabretooth still agreed to work on the side of Apocalypse, and after a brutal fight, Weapon X managed to paralyze Victor, albeit temporarily thanks to the latter's healing factor. Magneto also managed to outright kill Gideon and abort the nuclear launch, prompting Apocalypse to appear on the battlefield himself in order to collect his horsemen. And Sabanur tried to destroy the X-Men, but they were saved by Magneto. Though they knew they were victorious, he warned the others that this was only the beginning. Back home, however, things weren't so successful. The battle against Nemesis proved costly, and the Scarlet Witch had died in Rogue's arms. Years before losing his hand, Weapon X used to live in a settlement called Neo-Tokyo. He was looking after a young woman named Mariko, and as a result battled a gang of Yakuza in order to keep her safe. She insisted on continuing a crusade against Yakuza's virtual businesses, but Logan scolded her over this, and told the young woman to instead focus on continuing her education. Logan owed Mariko's father a lot from their days serving at war together, and felt compelled to help the man's daughter stay safe. This, however, frustrated a man called the Silver Samurai, Mariko's half-brother, who was supposed to be the one protecting her. The samurai, who also goes by Kenichiro, attacked Logan out of frustration, but Weapon X easily bested his opponent, though he ensured no harm came to Kenichiro in the process. Mariko commented that it would have been easier to kill the young man, but Logan simply stated that sometimes the easier paths generally are less gracious ones. Though privately he thinks to himself that sometimes making those right decisions can be very difficult to live with. we'll continue to delve more into the history of the Age of Apocalypse timeline next time on Comic Island. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you then.